on Iran. The threat here in the U.S. after the attack on Iran, the FBI tonight now investigating a deadly shooting. The suspect with a rifle wearing a T-shirt with the Iranian flag. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Today, FBI officials confirming that they're urgently trying to determine why that gunman who went on a murderous rampage in Austin, Texas, was wearing a T-shirt bearing the flag of Iran only hours after the U.S. launched that massive attack, killing the supreme leader. You can see that T-shirt in the startling new photograph of the gunman who was killed in a confrontation with police early Sunday morning. The gunman seen here holding a rifle wearing a sweatshirt with the words "Property of Allah," officially identified as Jaga Jung, 53, a U.S. naturalized citizen originally from Senegal. Sources telling ABC News, in addition to the flag, authorities have discovered writings about Iran and its leadership after searching his car and other properties. More than a dozen wounded, 2 killed. Today we learned their identities. 2 college students, one from Texas Tech and the other from the University of Texas, Austin. And today, more signs of increased security. We learned Capitol Police will have a show of force in response to the U.S.-Israeli campaign against Iran. David?
Pierre Thomas tonight, Pierre. Thank you. The threat here in the U.S. after the attack on Iran.
Shalom. I want to set this off by giving honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Wahawa Kakwadash. Peace and citations to elect men of Israel, starting with the other apostles and the bishops and GMS on down, to the rest of you brothers and the brothers I labor with, who all push forth the will and the doctrine of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai in all faith, truth, and sincerity, according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To all of you, I say Shalom. So, this is just going to be a quick lesson. As you can see, this is a video that happened, or this is an event that happened earlier this week. And, you know, the news came out probably say a couple of days ago now. And when I seen this, you know, the first thing that came to mind was this could be a ploy that Esau is using in regards to trying to push forth the narrative of domestic terrorists, right? And how they could try to use that against us. You know, those of us that simply just teach the Bible, teach the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? And all that it goes on to say. You know, we just read it for what it really says. We go on to teach it for what it really says. You know, we don't sugarcoat nothing. We don't hold back our sword from blood, right? We teach and speak according to this word, you know. But the rulers of this place, you know, they don't like us telling the truth because they want to continue to keep doing the wickedness that they've been doing, right? But the Lord is having all their secrets being made manifest, right? And, you know, they really showing themselves to be devils, you know? These so-called white people who are the biblical Edomites, right? They're really going on to show themselves to really be the wicked. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is just more, you know, order out of chaos, right? Them creating chaotic moments to enforce the order that they want to enforce, simply, you know? So I just got a few scriptures just to hit this point, but, you know, nonetheless, this is something that happened, you know, this week, which is crazy. And it happened in Austin, Texas, right? It's interesting, too, because towards the end of this video, you know, they talk about the 2 that were killed, but they only showed one, and it was an Edomite, you know, so-called white kid. So it's just interesting because, you know, you got to pay attention to the you got to pay attention to what's going on, you know, under the iceberg when it comes to the news, right? How they present things, the specific snippets that they use, all of that in regards to trying to push a specific narrative, you know? And this is the type of shit that Esau gonna eat up. You know, the rest of the world gonna eat up being ignorant, not even paying no mind, and just allowing the narrative they pushing to have complete reign over, you know, all the masses in their minds. So I'm gonna start here with this. This is 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11. It says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." So we are being cautious, being prudent, right? Circumspect, paying attention to what's going on within the news, what's going on within the world, right? Because there's a lot of wickedness that's coming forth, and it's only getting more wicked with it. You know, there's a lot of demonic spirits that's roaming rampant. You know, going crazy, and having a lot of crazy things happen. But we need all these crazy things to happen so that way we can get closer to the end of this world and the beginning of ours that follow it. You know? But the way that you put yourself in good standing, in position to be able to receive of that blessing, the salvation, right? The comfort, that new world to come, is you having to be prudent, circumspect, paying attention to what's going on around you. You know? What's real and what's fake. Being aware of Esau, right, and Satan's wicked devices, you know, that they look to try to gain control over you, to hold you, you know, and that's not the state that we are looking to be in, right? And the Lord, he has these things happening. He's allowing these things to happen because it's with all this wickedness, it's just further proof on why we need the Lord, why we need Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. No other God by no other names, right? And just to get a scripture on that, this is Sirach 39 and 28, right? It says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance," you know? In regards to the things that's going on right now, the crazy, wicked things that's going on, right? These things are all still of the Lord. He deals with the good and the bad, you know? And it's all working towards his favor, to his purpose, right? So these spirits that you see on these people are a part of those spirits that are created for vengeance. You know? It says, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. It says, in the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Right? And that's exactly what you're seeing in this example. Right? I don't know if dude is Jake. You know what I'm saying? He could be a Hamite. Right? But nonetheless, it's all seem, if you will, too coincidental, right? And knowing how Esau move, you can definitely see this being a way that they're gonna try to use, you know, against us, doing what's right, because that's what's promoted in this world. You know, wickedness is made to look good, made to look right, while the things that are truly right are made to look bad. But again, it's all through the rulers of this place. Esau, Edom, being the wicked that the earth is beginning at the hands of, right? But all these people, they going on to do these things that don't coincide with what the Lord say. You know, they not obeying His voice, obeying His word, and that's exactly why they gonna get caught up in the midst of these things. Verse 29, it says, "Fire and hail and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance." So a lot of death gonna be coming, and it's a part of the Lord's vengeance. You know, a lot of these people, able to, it's clear to see shit ending, shit coming to an end. You know, if it ain't shit like this, it's ice banging and busting into, you know, everybody's houses and doors and shit. You know, the list can go on. right? We got a whole, feud going back and forth between Iran, you know what I'm saying, and America, right? But again, it's all for the Lord's purpose. Because with these things moving forward, it just bring us closer to the next domino that need to fall, right? The next big event, the next big sign of wonder, all for the purpose of what? This world coming to an end and all its wickedness, right? So that way the righteous world can come in and all of its righteousness, you know? But let me see. I'm gonna grab this one real quick. This is Matthew 26 and verse 52. Because this is key to understand in regards to living by this sword. You know, this sword is something that's promoted by the rulers of this place to every other people. You know what I'm saying? That's within that rulership, within that captivity, if you truly will. You know, which is thinking that you're supposed to live in this way. You know, that's of the heathen, of Esau, and it's not of the Lord. Matthew 26 and 52 says, "Then said Yahushua unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword." So this man, in this scenario situation, you know, he went on to use that sword, live by that sword, you know. He the one that took up that sword, that killing instrument, the gun, right? And with him doing that, he ended up, you know what I'm saying, dying in the process, right? He go on to show his dead body with the shirt. Let's show the beginning. Yeah, right here. You know, can't operate in this world. You know how everybody else is operating within the world, because they operate in a state of being dead or asleep. But we got to be lively and awake. You know, that we don't get caught lacking. Right? Let me see if I grab that. Yeah. Ephesians 5 and 14. It says, "Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light." You see? "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." And this is a part of those evils. This is why you gotta be circumspect. You know? Moving and operating in a way to where you can procure, bring forth, bring upon, you know what I'm saying, yourself salvation. So that's pretty much the point, you know? Lord willing, this is edifying. And with that, I'm going to give honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Wahawakak Wadash. Till next time, shalom.